see the color black without walking on eggshells.
I say, hold up, got my glizzy, bang, bang. I say, hold up, got my glizzy, bang, bang.
You're tuned into Foolery. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. And consider donating with super chats, stickers, memberships, or you can even gift memberships to other chatters. Or use the tips link in the description to write a message for TTS that will be read on stream.
Hit the like button, or you ain't black. And that's a fact. Jack.
Enjoy the show.
Crap, I didn't reset my mic. Is my mic okay? What's up, fools? Today's 12/20/2024. It's 6:51 p.m. Eastern Time. We got everything ready for Christmas week. Normally, I'm wearing a Santa hat, but I can't find my Santa hat this year. Normally, it's a Falcons Santa hat. It's a Santa hat with the Falcons logo on it. It says Atlanta Falcons on it. Crap like that. Can't find it, so I'm wearing a Grinch toboggan instead. It's I didn't check my audio. Yeah, audio sounds okay right now. Yeah, let me know if the audio messes up, and we'll get it fixed whenever. So yeah, so plan on streaming for a while today. The last stream we did, we tested out the targets. One of the problems that I have right now is that there's a target system that's set up for people to donate. And when the target system, like I've said, like, yeah, if you just donate with tips as well, we'll consider that part of the target. And then, we'll move on once that's done. I'm not allowed to cancel it. Once I set a target, it just stays there. So like where I want to just say, oh, we did it. Okay, let me cancel this one and move on to the next one. It won't let me. You have to fill up that target in order to move on. And I was thinking like, yeah, I'll attach all of them from, if I get a donation from Kick, if I get a donation from the phone stream, if I get a donation from base chat, like I'll just consider all of these the same thing. I'll consider tips in there. I'll just match it all up as one, and then we'll move on. But it won't let me do that. And the targets in chats just tend to be like a bit better because it's kind of like in your face when there's a thing just at the top of the chat. It's just there. Like if I put something on screen, it's not as visible, it's not as noticeable. It doesn't really matter that I put something up on the screen. So yeah, we'll probably just go with one target in base chat, and we'll do it the way that we did the last couple of times, where like, yeah, we'll start it off. The very first one only has 5 $2 chats. Fill it up. Once we fill it up, we'll say, okay, we're gonna do, that adds 3 hours to stream. So instead of streaming 3 hours, we'll do 6 hours, and then we'll go to minimums of $5, and then yeah, we can get up to like 9-hour streams. And so I think that's currently the way that I'm looking at it. Makes sense, but yeah, I would like to make it all like simpler and make it all just fit as one thing. And currently I don't know how to do that. So what's up, Spartacus, leader, wrestling, little bits. Every time I say wrestling, I feel like a Southern person talking about wrestling. That's what I feel like. I feel like I sound like a Southerner saying wrestling. Y'all want to watch some WWF wrestling? That's what I feel like. That's what it sounds like. But, all right, fine. Your name's frickin' wrestling. At first, I looked at it as Ritalin. For some reason, I saw Ritalin every time I saw it. We don't like short bus chat around here. Didn't you come from short bus chat? Oh, no, you came from... That's right. You came from Jola's community, but didn't you come from short bus chat in Jola's community? Weren't you in Jola's short bus chat? I thought you were. Well, now that was playing, so I do have a thing to announce. If you're in the Discord, you already know this, okay? But if you're not in the Discord, I fucked up pretty royally. And most people didn't notice. Almost nobody noticed. From what I can tell, there's one person who said anything about this fuck up, and just one. There's only one person who mentioned this fuck up, and that's it. Nobody else said a thing about it. We had, there's hundreds of people who have watched this video. There's a bunch more who watched it live. There's a bunch who I reached out to and was like, hey, can you check this real quick? Make sure that I'm not like stupid or anything. And damn, dude, I fucked up so bad. So let me just play it real quick and then I'll explain it. But yes, I fucked up royally here. So let's let's get into this real quick. I want to make sure that I address this as quickly as possible, or not as quickly, but as soon as possible. I want to address this as soon as possible. So I just realized this yesterday, and now today's the first stream back. So yes, I want to make sure that I get into this quick.
Businesses do you own?
Yeah, not currently. Currently, I don't have businesses, but I've sold off like a car detailing business. I've run car
what
washes.
business? A what?
Car detailing.
A what business?
Car detailing.
A car
like,
detailing business.
yes.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, it was more so I was bringing up populism because the idea for populism is generally that like it's
the idea for populism. Oh my goodness. What is this? Is this a college lecture at the Ivy Leagues?
Well, I'm sorry, you referenced liberalism, so I'm referencing that. I'm saying that to me it makes sense. Because I do think that there is a problem with the left where they have an issue with elitists, right? But the populist right, it doesn't have an issue with elitists. They have an issue with the establishment.
The elitists are liberals. The elitists are leftist, are liberals.
Oh, sure, to an extent, of course.
There are no conservative elitists.
Sure, of course. The left is more likely to go to college, more likely to have these like fancy degrees and shit like that.
That's not true. Oh my goodness, I had.
Okay. So he hung up on me. He said the S word, and I go through this in the video, and I'm like, this motherfucker accused me of cussing. Like, I don't know what the fuck that was about. And we go over it, and other people, he said he hit the dump button on. And we even went and checked his version, and I couldn't notice a difference in his version and my version. And so there was just nothing there. And I didn't know why he said I cussed. I didn't know why he was acting like I said something. Tom, you rated us to him. Now I believe everything he says. Shut the fuck up. But yeah, I did this whole video essay at the very beginning of it. I'm like, okay, this, it even said it on the thumbnail. It said it in the title, Tom calls into conservative radio show host and he rage quits and lies about him. Turns out this is not true. Turns out I totally got this wrong, and tons of other people that I asked to go listen to it also got it wrong. So this is the version that I put in the Discord the other day to kind of let everybody know. Sure, of course. The left is more likely to go to college, more likely to have these like fancy degrees and shit like that.
That's not true. Oh my.
He's talking over me, so nobody can hear it. But he said. I said, and shit like that. I still can't hear it. Yes, I still didn't hear it. I didn't. Oh, wait, you can't hear what I'm saying? Or what? Wait, do you mean you can't hear the video? Sure, of course. No, you can hear the video. But yes, I say, and shit like that. The left is more likely to go to college, more likely to have these like fancy degrees and shit like that.
That's not true.
Nobody heard it. Nobody freaking heard it. Nobody heard it. I edited this thing and didn't hear it any of those times. Because as soon as he starts talking over me, that's not true. That's not true. You can't really hear what I'm saying. But in the premiere, I went back because I premiered the video. You can chat while in a live chat while I'm premiering the video. And I left and went and did other things. And then I'm a very important person. I have all sorts of people just always needing my time and needing my energy. And so I had to move on and take care of business because I'm so important. And so while I was taking care of business, I came back at the end and I saw MW saying, "Why is Tom gaslighting us? He said shit." And I'm like, I just responded and said LOL to MW. I'm like, good one. Yeah, well done. Because after he said it, I was like, is he memeing? He's got to be joking, right? I didn't say shit. He's lying. And I rewound it a little bit and I listened back to it. I'm like, yeah, he's definitely memeing. I didn't say it. And then for some reason, when I went back and watched through just to see what all the chat said that I missed the next day, yesterday, I look through and I see him saying it again. I see the same chats again. And I'm like, wait, Let me check this one more time. There's no way he seems like he's memeing, but he also seems like he's not memeing. I can't tell if he's joking that I said the S word or if he's being serious. And so that's when I saw it and I recorded it and I put the text on there. Fancy degrees and shit like that.
That's not true.
And shit like that. You can't hear it unless you're thinking, like, only pay attention to what I say, right? If you're listening to the conversation, well, you kind of already get the gist of what I'm saying. So as soon as he starts saying that's not true on top of me, you're not really listening to what I have to say anymore because you already get the gist of what it is that I'm getting across. So yeah, as soon as he starts talking over me, everybody's brains just kind of shut off from what I'm saying and immediately start listening to him. And you have to only listen to what I said in order to hear me actually saying it. Fancy degrees and shit like that.
That's not true.
And so I made a fucking hour-long video essay mostly about that. Like that's the thing that is like kind of teased throughout the video, is that I'm going to get to a point where this guy rage quits and accuses me of something and lies about me, right? That's what's teased throughout the entire video. And then, yeah, we don't get to it till like the end. And then once we get to it, okay, somebody got fucking triggered, I guess. So yeah, the guy, so yeah, then I'm like, I'm calling it a lie. I'm saying this guy lied about me. He lied that I cussed. We go over like what dump buttons are. I go over like parts of the videos where he supposedly dumped other people and kind of show that stuff. And yeah, no, he did. He was right. I did cuss. And yeah, I don't know what happened. I actually haven't listened to the radio version again since then.
Sure, of course. Like the left is more likely to go to college, more likely to like.
That's not true. That's not true. Oh my goodness! I had to hit the.
I still don't know what happened there.
Likely to like.
That's not true. That's not true. Oh my goodness! I had to hit.
I can't tell. I can't tell what I'm saying. He's just talking over me. So yeah, at this point, I don't want to take the whole video essay down because the majority of the video essay is me talking about things that I think are important. Like the majority of the video essay is me talking about like the differences between, different types of words that are used within politics, and that most people don't understand the differences between these words. But if somebody is literally like, if their job is politics, if their job is to talk about politics, he says that he works on the oldest radio show in the South, then yeah, like you would expect him to understand the colloquial differences and the linguistic differences here, but he doesn't. And so it's kind of annoying. And so I go over the differences and I explain them, which there's a guy named Casper who comes in the chat. He's a fucking retard. But one of the things that he said in the chat during this is that like, he said something like, doesn't Tom realize when he goes over definitions, this makes us trust him less? It's like, how do you, you understand that is my problem. You understand that I'm explaining throughout this video, that is my problem, is that you guys are super anti-intellectuals. Like you are totally against intellectualism. Yes, intellectualism. You're totally against it. But then when people treat you like someone who's against intellectualizing things, then you get upset and get offended and oh, I can't believe you would say that I'm not an intellectual. It's like, no, your whole thing is being against intellectualism. Like this guy, literally the whole video is talking about how he's like against colleges and how college is just a way to brainwash people, and that it's it's all just this thing used to just brainwash the kids and shit.
This,
I think it's like, no, that's not true. That's not true. I don't know why he said that. He's been saying the entire show that the left is like brainwashed because of college.
This Luigi shooter did what he did
because he was brainwashed by liberal college professors. This is a radicalized leftist who's been radicalized by leftists in the college, okay? Educated leftist who obviously was brainwashed by his college professors and the such to do what it is that he did, okay? You know, I was lucky that I went to college as an adult, so they couldn't brainwash me.
And then when I... So yeah, so his whole thing is that he's like against colleges, against, you know, academia, against intellectualizing things. But then, yes, it's like when I make a video essay about the fact that these people act like they know what they're talking about, but then they're also against knowing what they're talking about. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm gonna treat you like somebody who doesn't know what the fuck you're talking about when you're literally against education. You're literally against education, okay? I'm sorry, bro. You're literally against college, okay? When you're against college, when you're against universities, you're against being educated. And so then I am going to treat you like somebody who's against being educated. But even as I'm saying this, I've got fucking Casper in the chat saying like, doesn't Tom get that this is why we don't trust him when he starts talking about how things are defined and what they mean and crap like that? Yeah, here it is. So has Tom still not figured out how distrustful we get of him when he tries to act like an expert or bust out definitions and the basics? His attempt to be seen as an intellectual just seems sad. So again, this is not about being an intellectual, like technically. It's just about the fact that I talk about politics, and if I'm going to talk about politics, I'm going to spend a lot of time studying the things that I'm talking about. Okay? That's just it. Like, if I'm going to talk about this stuff, if I'm going to give opinions on it, if I'm going to have conversations about it, if I'm going to debate about it, and a lot of these things that I learn came from debates. A lot of the stuff that I learned comes from debates because I will take a position on something that I will be like a bit ignorant on, and I won't have as much information on it as I think I do. But then as I take that position, tons of people are calling in to challenge me on it, or tell me that I'm wrong, or explain things to me, or tell me to go check this source, tell me to check that source. And so as I'm doing this, I'm learning more and more and more about these things. And because I am open to being challenged, because I'm open to having these conversations, not like this guy where I have the conversation for like a minute and 30 seconds and then hang up on the person and move on to the next call, but where most of my calls end up being an average of probably about 2 hours. Sometimes they go on for 4 to 5 hours. Like the last time I streamed, I spent, I think, Rasslin, how long were you here? Like 4 hours, 5 hours of me reading like Supreme Court decisions and articles and shit like that. Like this is, this is like if you're. And plus, the thing is that I'm not acting like an expert. If Casper thinks I'm acting like an expert, this just proves how fucking retarded he is. Because throughout this entire video, I'm giving sources for these things, and I'm showing that these are not like left-wing beliefs, right? Like the fact that being a liberal and being a leftist are different things, right? These are different things, and that this is not like a crazy leftist belief to have. I source this of world ideology, but okay, fine. He was radicalized into liberalism, but then he says he was radicalized into leftism, and by like going to college and crap like that, which I know that lots of right-wingers I talked about it. Don't know that there's a difference. I talked about you as well. Liberalism and leftism. I know that growing up, when I listened to Ben Shapiro, I listened to Dennis Prager, I listened to Dave Rubin, even Candace Owens. All of those people always said there was a difference between being a leftist and being a liberal.
What's the difference between a liberal and a leftist? This question stumps most people.
Camille, I think you're mistaking what I'm talking about. There's no way you can take what I'm saying as being defensive. There's no way you can take what I'm saying as being defensive. I'm not defending being wrong right now, so this is not being defensive.
Because they think liberal and left are essentially the same. But they're not. In fact, liberalism and leftism have almost nothing in common.
I don't equate liberals and leftists. They're not the same.
Okay.
So I think there are liberals who believe what old school liberals used to believe, the whole idea, I may disagree with you, but I'll die for your right to say it. But that's a liberal value. That's not a leftist.
So yeah, so these are the people that I grew up listening to. People like Ben Shapiro, people like Candace Owens, people like PragerU, and they explain these things in a way that made a lot of sense to me. And then yes, even once I started listening to people on the left, it was much more serious about the fact that like liberals are not leftists. I'm a fucking leftist. Fuck liberals. Liberals are a bunch of pieces of shit. Liberals vote for Democrats. Fuck them. I would never vote for a fucking Democrat. Like that's kind of leftist these days. So there's so many other things that I address in here that is the reason that I'm keeping it up. So if people wonder, Tom, why the fuck would you keep this up after you admitted that you were wrong about this? Why would you leave a video up where you like kind of slander this guy? I haven't figured out a good way to deal with it because I would like to just cut it out and edit it out, but I can't because I would have to edit out the beginning as well. And so what I did instead is I just pinned a comment to the very top of this that says, I was wrong. I somehow missed the fact that I did cuss and I said the S word when he dumped me. It's already a dumb miss, but I did say it. So he was completely right in dumping my call. I just now realized and immediately came here when someone told me. So this is there. I don't feel like this is adequate, honestly. I feel like most people don't really check the comments, and they're especially not going to see what the content creator pinned as his own comment at the top. And so, yeah, if I am wondering what other people think I should do here, because I don't think I've ever dealt with this before. There's been like once or twice that I've dealt with things where people have said, Tom totally misrepresented me there. And I said, okay, fair enough. I'm so sorry if that's true. If you'll just send that to me, then I will totally take it down and issue a statement taking it back. And I'll put it on all my platforms, on Twitter, on YouTube. I'll put it on Discord. Like I will I will say it on stream. I will do everything I can to try to make sure that that's redacted. But that's never happened before. None of those people said that I was wrong about them. Not one of them ever even attempted to send me evidence to say that I was wrong. And so I left those things up. This one is a little bit different because, yes, this time I realized that I was wrong. I'm the one who caught this. It's not like it's a huge video. It's only got 300 fucking views on it in 3 days. Like, this isn't a masterful video that I put out that's so popular that I need the money from it or something like that. This isn't getting me any money. Edit in text. I can't edit in text. That would be great. I wish I could, but I can't edit in text. So out of an hour video, truly about 5 minutes is about like the lie, right? About 5 total minutes is about the lie. But yeah, the rest of it is about me kind of like going over ideas that I feel like are things that bother me today on the right. And so I just use this guy as an example to go over those issues. And so now I'm not sure what to do here. This is not something that I've dealt with before. Like at the beginning, I talk about this for like a second. And then I don't get back to it till the end. And then proceeded to lie about me. That's it. I just say, he hung up on me and then he proceeded to lie about me. But we'll get to that at the end. In the meantime, I would like to talk about all of the issues that he brought up. There are things that I feel like are systemic on the right today. And so I want to touch on those before we get to that. That's it. And then I don't get to the lie until like 45 minutes in or something like that. And even once I get to it, I still don't address it. I still go like another 5 minutes talking about elitists and shit like that. So, yeah. We can pull this back if we cover it up, MW. Well, yeah, you're able to pull up this stream still, but just take it down and repost it with text. Why can't you edit in text? So what I'm saying is that if I take it down and edit in text, it will be a whole new video with a whole new upload, which is that really annoys people. If I upload a new video and they start watching it and they're like, this looks familiar, but I'm pretty sure I've seen this before, but okay. And then, yes, and then they, like, I'm not able to, so YouTube has settings to where you can edit out sections. You can do that. YouTube has a couple of settings where you can clip things and get rid of them. So, like, if YouTube says, hey, you said a naughty word there, you've got a couple of days to take that off, or else you're going to get a strike for it. You can go in through YouTube editing settings and clip things out and get rid of them. But you're not able to clip things in. And that's my issue. What up, Dwight? Just take it down, edit that part out, and re-upload. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm thinking about doing. It's very frustrating. I spent like a week on this, maybe longer. But the problem is that if I edit those parts out, I have to edit other parts in to fix a lot of like the narrative driving as we go through. And so, yeah, I would have to edit a number of things. That would be very frustrating if that was the case. Yeah. Yeah, that would be very frustrating. And I would have to probably put like re-upload on it so that people know, like, yes, you probably already watched this. I'm sorry, Tom. Yeah. Yeah. Fuck you for making me realize that I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I want to know. I want to know if I like misrepresented somebody or got something wrong. I always want to know. But yeah, this is bothering me now. So, you don't have to edit the whole video. Just put a disclaimer. Why? I feel like that's dumb. I feel like if I'm going to take it down and re-upload something, no, I might as well just do the whole thing. I might as well just, like, why re-upload a flawed video? Why do that? I'm not going to re-upload a flawed video. I'm not going to do it. If I take it down and re-upload it, I'm re-uploading it, like, fixed. I'm re-uploading it like it never happened. And just uploading a video that actually is the correct message across the board. People will forgive a re-upload, Tom. Oh, so, okay, so here's the other problem with the re-upload is when I upload the re-upload, most of the people who watch most of my stuff, their views matter the most, right? Their views matter the most. So when they first click on these videos, how long, they're the first ones to watch every video. They're always the first ones to watch a video when it gets uploaded. So your like main subscribers, the people who are going to watch everything that you put up, every stream, like they're going to watch all of that stuff, right? Those are the people who matter the most because they're the first ones to watch your videos and they get notifications as soon as you upload something. So when they go watch it, if they don't watch the whole thing, it's not going to push it to anybody else, right? If they don't watch the whole thing, it's going to stop pushing it and it's dead. It is a dead video. It will not be seen by anybody else. It will not pop up in the algorithm, won't be suggested to you, will not go anywhere else. No new viewers, nothing from it, right? It's already fucked in views right now. Most everybody did not watch the whole thing, and so it is already fucked in terms of views. If I re-upload it, people are going to watch like 30 seconds of it before they're like, oh, I already saw this shit. It's going to be the same people who matter, the same viewers who matter. They're going to watch like 30 seconds of it and they're going to turn it off. And then it's going to be even worse. It's going to be even worse in terms of views than it was the first time that it went up. And so yeah, that's, your viewers are mostly right. I would say my community isn't. So I'm mostly talking about like my community. My community is not mostly right. We took polling recently, and it's a pretty good mix. Like 30% of it's like 33% of the community is liberal, 33% is conservative. So yeah, liberal is 33%, 31% is conservative. So that's the makeup. Now we got 19% at centrist or moderate, and then 17% at progressive. That makes like, yeah, that makes it still like lean more left than it does right. But yeah, the main thing is that it is like a good mix. Like nobody else has fucking 30%. No other liberal streamer or somebody with like a, you know, who voted for Kamala has got 30% fucking conservatives watching them. Like nobody. Your own viewers don't know what they are. What do you mean? You mean because like, you mean because you guys think I'm a leftist and I won't admit to being a leftist, so or what? The short bus chat is mostly right, which is not surprising. Correct. But the short bus chat is like most of the viewers, but not most of the viewing time. So like I can get 400 views in base chat, and I can get 4,000 views in short bus chat. The view time is going to be about the same for both. Whereas like I'll get like 400 hours watched from base chat, and I'll get like 400 hours watched from short bus chat. But there was 4,000 viewers from short bus chat, which means they averaged about a minute per person. And so it's just, yeah, it's totally different where they're just not, they're not like staying tuned. I guess I should change my answer because everyone insists I'm a neoliberal, whatever the fuck that is. People call me a neoliberal as well. I still think that I would fall under like neocon more than anything else, but I think that having some more like progressive social values is what fucks with people. I think that because I am like more willing to be, I don't know why I always forget this word. It's to put up with something. It's a liberal buzzword, meaning like it means to like be willing to deal with it or something like that. But many people don't answer polls. Well, yeah, it doesn't. I mean, tolerant. Yes, thank you. Yeah, when you're talking about on like YouTube with a content creator that you engage with pretty highly, your people, it's not like somebody called your fucking house or came to your door or something. Like that's a that's a different type of poll. Whereas like these types of polls from like a content creator that you watch, yeah, most people who watch them like religiously are answering, which is why this has 268 votes on it. It's because, yeah, that's about the amount of people who watch religiously. So just the same here is when we ask, what gender are you? This is from when I had a lot more viewers and a lot more people who watched every day. And this has almost 1,000 votes on it. And then we had another one about like race at asking like what race people were, and that had, I think, like 800 votes on it or something like that. So yeah, these are very different types of polls that don't really, yeah, this is the choose your spot on the spectrum, right, left, center, far right, far left. This is back when I was able to put more than 4 answers. It only lets you put 4 now, but yeah, this one has 5 options here, and again, this had 44% left, 30% center, and then 13% right, 7% far right, 6% far left. But this was also a very different community that we had. So, because I think at the time I was averaging between 3,000 and 4,000 viewers per stream, and now I average like between 300 and 400 per stream. So, but yeah, I think because I'm more tolerant to things like trans people, or like black, systemic racist sort of lingo, or yeah, because I have like more progressive social prescriptions, or not even prescriptions, just descriptions. Really, that's what it is. Because I think when it comes to prescriptions, me and like most right wingers are gonna agree. I'm not gonna agree with like, yeah, progressives and liberals on like, on most like prescriptions on systemic racism. But the fact that systemic racism exists, yeah, I that's just proven in data. Like you can't deny that. Like it's just proven. And so yeah, I'm willing to acknowledge that it's real. But for lots of conservatives, just acknowledging that it's real is already like, you've already committed a sin just by acknowledging that systemic racism is real. So, see, you're woke. Yeah. Yeah. It's, and this is a problem that I've had in a number of debates where, like, they want me to come and they'll say, hey, we want you to come do a debate on systemic racism. Which side are you going to fall on? And I'm like, is it about like whether or not systemic racism exists? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to debate that it definitely exists. There's no way to debate that it doesn't exist. Like, I don't want to look like a fucking idiot. So yeah, I have to debate that it exists. So then they'll put a partner with me a lot of times. And that partner is a fucking leftist. It's like a fucking like socialist or, far progressive or somebody like that. And so I meet with that person and I tell them, hey, we cannot debate like prescriptions. If we get into prescriptions, I'm gonna end up debating you. I will debate you if we get into prescriptions. So please, let's just stay on whether or not it exists. Conservatives, every time, will do this thing where they're starting to get backed into a corner on whether or not systemic racism exists. Every fucking time. They will, Laser, I will answer that in a second, because it's a good question. But yes, every time conservatives will get backed into a corner, and then they will say, okay, fine. You know what? Let's just pretend. I'll just give it to you, okay? I'll just give it to you. Let's just pretend that it's real, okay? I'll just pretend. All right, fine. What do we do about it? The reason they do this is for 2 reasons. One is because they're already losing whether or not it exists. They're already getting fucked up on the question, does systemic racism exist? And they acknowledge that they're getting fucked up. They've got nowhere else to go. So now they have to pivot to prescriptions. This is a descriptive debate. Does it exist? They will always pivot to, okay, fine. So what do we do about it? Once you get there, yeah, those are not normally good prescriptions. They do not normally have good ideas on how to fix this shit. They just don't. Like, I'm sorry, but their ideas on how to fix systemic racism is normally, like, some fucking wild shit on like, you know, giving, I'm blanking on the term that we use. I think it starts with an R, but it's like giving money to them, recompense or whatever it is. There's like a term that means that everybody uses specifically for giving black people money from the government. But yeah, they'll say something like, yeah, like giving them money, letting them get into college at higher rates and just paying for their college, doing things with like reparations, doing things with like with like workplaces to where they get the jobs at higher rates. Which I'm not gonna lie, if we had like just state-run colleges, yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with them giving them admissions at higher rates. I think that that's fine. If we said, hey, you know what? Giving people money does not help them actually build long-term wealth or long-term success. And so instead of giving them money, we're going to give them an education. We'll help them get a degree. Yeah, sure. That's fine. I have no problem with that. That is, that's something that I wouldn't have an issue with. But because most universities are not state-owned, it wouldn't make sense because they are private-owned. And even though the government gives them lots of money for like tuition and shit like that, yeah, I don't think I would like that. And then on top of that, we like a lot of people would say, okay, well then just let the government give them like free tuition. Just let the government pay for black people to have tuition. I think that things would get really. I think things get really like murky there once we get to that point. And so yeah, I'm okay with the idea in general. I just think that it's like it's not really pragmatic. It won't really work. So yeah. Or they could no longer want to discuss that part of. No, I'm telling. I understand that there's other possibilities that are there. I'm telling you, those are not real. That like, if you watch I don't know why you say this, Dwight. Like, yes, I understand there's other possible things going on. Like, yeah, it's true. If I'm in the middle of a debate with somebody and I feel like I'm crushing them and then they just hit the hang up button out of nowhere, it's possible that they had an emergency or something like that and just didn't say anything and ran away, or that they weren't running away, that they were just, their wife text them and said that they were pregnant and that they're going into labor or some shit. Maybe, I don't know, like it's possible. But yeah, when the person presses the hang up button while you're in the middle of kind of fucking crushing them, I think we all get that there's other possibilities, but it's not it's just not really likely. So I called you out on that shit slip up too. Did you? So again, yeah, when people said stuff, I thought that they were joking. I thought that, yeah, when people said this stuff, I thought that they were joking. Because, yeah, I watched it so many times. And I had a bunch of other people listen to it too, and not one person heard it. So, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I guess maybe there were two people who said something about it, not one. So yeah, this is like a good example where Kay Fellows, she was a libertarian, and she was like known as the like libertarian pro-life debater, and she was one of the people who came onto my show and we had a conversation. And I didn't know much about her. I just knew that I was pro-life. She was pro-life. I was doing a podcast at the time where I was talking to all sorts of like new people who kind of sounded interesting. And so wanted to bring them on. She had a debate with Destiny about a number of things. And I think initially it was like vaccines, but then they both eventually agreed on vaccines. So then they both moved to abortion, and then they both ended up agreeing on abortion, and so they just ended the debate and moved on. It was on Modern Day Debates, and so then I invited her on. We had a conversation, and I was like, yeah, it's weird. Like, I'm told that I'm not a right-winger because I believe in systemic racism, and I heard you say that you do as well. And she's like, yeah, no, I do. She's like, it's kind of annoying, the gatekeeping that's coming from the right these days, because we're supposed to be against that, like, that gatekeepy bullshit. But she's like, the right wing is changing dramatically these days. And then I was like, yeah, like, and you're also like in favor of vaccines? She's like, yeah, totally, like in favor of vaccines. And I was like, are you like pro like BLM, like, or at least like the movement of BLM, not the organization? She's like, yeah, love the movement, love the idea, think that like there's a lot of problems going on, but not in favor of the organization at all. I was like, bro, all right. I was like, I feel a lot better about this, because I keep saying I'm still fucking conservative. I keep saying I'm still on the right, that this hasn't changed, but that because there's like a couple small issues that people disagree with, they tell me that I'm just not on the right now. I'm just not on the right. I'm not conservative anymore. And I was like, it's weird when by far the majority of my beliefs are still on the right, but I just have like one that's not on the right, and they think that that one is enough to change everything else. It doesn't make sense to me. Damn, where's the... No, it's not this one. Yeah, this one. Okay, the great debate. This is me and Jangles versus Rob Noor and Andrew Wilson. And they do the same thing. I think Jangles was drunk for this one. He kind of pissed me off during this debate, because at the time I was doing rhetoric coaching, and I was helping all sorts of people with their debates and everything. And Jangles and I had a couple of conversations where what I did mostly is I was doing debate reviews. So I would do a review of a debate, and then after I would review the debate, I would sometimes send it to the person who I was reviewing, or like who I was like pretty critical of, and then say like, hey, this is what I went over. This is like these are my criticisms. If you'd like to come on sometime, I'd like to discuss these with you. And so Jangles was, I'd had him on a couple of times to go over my criticisms of him. So then when we went into this debate, he was like, hey, like, I really appreciated your criticisms of my last couple debates. And so before we do this one, is there like a game plan that you want to go into with this one? And I was like, yes, I do, actually. Let me grab my notes. And so I pulled out like a whole list of things, and he took notes, and we had like conversations about this and kind of like strategized and everything. And then once we got there, I think you might have been drunk and just fucking threw the playbook out. Just threw the whole playbook out the window, just like that. And yeah, I was not happy. I was not happy for like a week after that. I was so pissed at how this went. I agree, Tom is a centrist, not on the right. Yeah, today I would say that I think that most of my beliefs will align with like a neocon, but again, I think the spectrum has moved to a point that where like neocons are just going to be considered a little bit different from they're going to be considered like centrists at this point, or even on the left, like even Democrats or something like that. Yo, Tom, why do you think there aren't that many right-wing political streamers? Or maybe there are, but I'm not aware. Streaming is hard for people in politics. So I'm going to say something that's like, yeah, super biased. And so I'm just going to tell you, like, this is just my thought process on it. You can disagree with it. That's fine. But this is my thought process. Is I think people who are like center, left, or liberal, or centrist, these people are just right. And so when it comes to debating, people on the right have a very, very hard time So when I first came into like the streaming space, there were no centrists. Centrists didn't exist. Centrists didn't exist. They were not around. Even the word liberal was a bad word. It was offensive. It was an offensive slur. You called somebody a liberal. They're like those was fighting words. Okay, you should not call somebody a fucking liberal, or they were gonna fight you over it. Whereas when I came in, I said I was a centrist, and everybody's like, oh, one of these guys. Oh my goodness, and everybody looked at it as like the last couple of guys who called themselves centrists turned out to be like hardcore Nick Fuentes fans. Richard Spencer fans, like shit like that. And so, yeah, when I said I was a centrist, to them, it was like a dog whistle for being far right. That's what they thought it was. But the streaming space is hard for right-wingers. And so most right-wingers who were around left. Because if you're streaming, you kind of have to be open to like debate. You got to be open to other people calling in. You got to be open to like having dialogue. You got to be open to going on the panels, to engaging. You can choose not to do that. But if you do, you're like really, really hurting your ability for engagement and for networking. And so, yeah, all correct. All of the right wingers left over time. They all left. And so people like CTV, Redneck, like I had a right-wing panel when I first came in. I did a panel for like everybody. I did a panel for like leftists, like socialists and them. I had a panel for like liberal progressives. I had a panel for right-wingers. I did a bunch of different panels. So this is the leftist panel. It's got, Vosh on there, Sock Done Left, Demon Mama, Hans of Harkir, Joe Lewis. Like we had all of the prominent leftist streamers on this one panel. This was the right-wing panel with, Redneck, Rob Noor, Phil KOE, Brento Box, and two of the people who were supposed to be on this panel, three of the people who were supposed to be on this panel canceled last minute. Three of them, just last minute, just no call, no showed, which was very, very frustrating. There was some drama going on with my producer at the time. Not Sass. I had another producer at the time who got in trouble for sexual harassment, and he was producing for both me and Prime Kai's. And Prime Kai's was totally getting canceled over the fact that this was his producer. So I just kind of stayed quiet. I was brand new to the space at the time. Most people didn't even know I had a producer. And so I just stayed quiet, didn't say anything. But everybody who got invited by that producer, no call, no show, just didn't show up. So yeah, it was like CTV, Endernax. Who was does anybody remember who the like libertarian right-wing guy was who did like the Joker outfit back before like doing Joker shit was popular? And I can't remember his name. He was from Canada. I've had him on a ton of times talking to him about all sorts of shit. I can't remember his name. Shit. But yeah, anyways. And so yeah, the right-wingers in the streaming space just like truly they got destroyed all the time. Every panel they were on, they talked about how unfair everything was. They talked about the fact that there were too many lefties and that the lefties all ganged up on them and it was so unfair, and that they didn't like being the minority, and that everything, they were kind of whiny babies as well. Like, I'm not going to lie. They were a bunch of whiny babies. And so they all ended up leaving. Over time, they all ended up leaving, and they all disappeared. So all of the people that no call, no showed for that stream. Oh no, sorry. There was one more that no call, no showed. as well. I can't remember his name either, but he was a lawyer. He's still around. I've seen him raid into Rob Noor the last couple of streams where I was watching Rob. But out of the people on this panel, Rob is the only one who's still a streamer. Phil KOE's still around, but he's not really a streamer. Fallenor is gone. Redneck's gone. Brent Obox is gone. CTV's gone. Endernax is gone. Like, all these people are gone. And so right wing always play the victim. It is strange. Like, it was a strange thing for me coming into this space and meeting CTV and talking to him and being like, bro, like every time I talk to you, everything's about your fucking feelings, dude. You're always like all about your fucking feelings. And he's like, yeah, feelings are important. And I think that this is a fatal mistake for the right today, is where they're doing this Ben Shapiro facts over feelings shit, and it's kind of lame. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's not lame. Stop fucking talking about your feelings, bro. What is wrong with you? Like, yeah, it was weird. But yeah, he was always upset about different stuff. This was like my first conversation with him, I think.
I kind of feel like what you're doing right now is almost fishing for me to try to say something that's going to, like, I'm going to.
Yeah, see, he was always paranoid too. He was always paranoid. Always thought people were trying to get him. Always thought people were like trying to like take him out. And he was like one of the most prominent right-wing streamers on Twitch at the time in the Twitch politics space. And yeah, he was always running with some sort of victim narrative and was always upset about something. And yeah, it was weird. Here, he's being so paranoid.
Like what you're doing right now is almost fishing for me to try to say something that's going to, like, I'm going to skip a beat, right? Like, I'm going to say something fucked up. That's kind of what I think that you're doing right now. My chat is pointing out that they feel like you're being disingenuous right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know how else to explain it other than the way that I have, right?
Yeah.
And this is me trying to be like as nice as I possibly can be, because I kind of feel like that chat is right now. And that either A, you are acting like you're not as smart as we have seen you be in other situations when it comes to conversating, and you're being disingenuous with me right now in an attempt to try to garner some type of information out of me, to try to paint me in a certain light that would only...
To garner some information out of me. Like, he was just... your ability in conversating in the past. Like, he always talked so weird. Yes, conversating. Like, he was from like the South, and also from like, I think he was in the military as well. And so I think that's what CTV stood for, is like critical something veteran, or critically thinking veteran. That's what it was. Critically thinking veteran. Tom, neocon means warhawk today. I understand that's what it means. Like, technically there's more to it than that, and I can get into that in a little bit, but yeah, I understand that that's like the defining feature that people think of.
Support your status on the left, right? That's what it seems like. So what do you think then? Do you think I'm transphobic?
So yeah, this was wild. Because yeah, RGR, if you guys remember her, Riley Grace Rochong, she had accused CTV of being transphobic on the panel. And this is a panel with like Destiny, Irrelevant, Denims, all of these, Dylan Burns, and that, yeah, Riley was like going in on CTV talking about how he's transphobic. But then later he got mad at me just for allowing her to say those things on my panel. And I was like, bro, I don't know you. Like, I don't know you. I don't know anything about you. If you're expecting me to go, no, he's not transphobic. I have no idea if you're transphobic. I don't know. I'm new here, bro. I've talked to you once. Like, what the fuck? And so, yeah, and then even the time before that, he said that he didn't want to come onto one of my panels that he got invited to because it was an all right-wing panel. And he was afraid that I was trying to take over the right-wingers because he ran an all right-wing panel already. And I was like, he's like, I do my weekly right-wing panel. You're trying to take over by doing this. I was like, bro, I'm not trying to take over. I'm doing one panel, one panel, one time. That's it. I do a panel a week. Every week is not going to be a fucking right-wing panel. I promise you. I'm doing one panel every week. This week is going to be the right-wing panel. Next week is going to be the leftist panel. The week after that's going to be the like lefty progressive panel. Like, that's it. That's all I'm doing. I'm not trying to take over for you. But yeah, he was always kind of a whiny baby. This one's about, you know, him defending people who went into the Capitol on January 6th, saying that they didn't mean it. They didn't mean it. I think anybody who went in the Capitol is a fucking traitor too. But also, I don't think he meant it, Tom. Shut the fuck up, dude. So yeah, he was just a big baby. And I think the right-wingers in the space, they were all kind of babies. Almost all of them. They were all just a bunch of big babies. And it was frustrating talking to them. And they all got way too emotional talking and trying to have debates. And so yeah, they didn't fit in. They weren't able to hang out. You come across as center left, yet pro-life. Well, it's not just pro-life. Like, when it comes to like, okay. So like, yeah, Katmere the other day was saying that he thinks that like, I'm farther right on immigration than most like Republicans are. What was the other one? Somebody the other day was saying that I was farther right. Like, I'm not, I don't have the same, like, think about all of like the Democrats' positions, okay? Think about like the main ones, the main positions that